felt like.
Very peaceful.
The whole walk, or the whole kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Was there particular parts that were more peaceful? Or?
The guy playing the hang drum was really
nice.
nice.
No, that's lovely.
Yeah.
It was just such a nice surprise, and I really like the music.
Yeah.
Right.
It was almost too much of a surprise. I was just like, so excited about that. So that was the most peaceful part. Maybe the cows. They're pretty chill.
Because you like cows, so.
Much like animals. I don't have a particular
thing. Anyone else?
Yeah, I feel mellow.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a definite changing of zones. It's very
Changing of?
zones, hedges, boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what you mean, like how you move from like one kind of part of the landscape to the next, so it's like a closed-in field, and then you break out into like this all of a sudden.
It's quite sudden.
Yeah.
And those stones going down the hill there.
Yeah. When we were walking
Markers of
through the stones, the kind of long ones rather than the circle, that felt like a very different movement.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In the circle it just felt like we were wandering, but that felt more
directional,
like we were going somewhere.
Yeah.
You need to go this way and carry
It's nice
on
to have a mission. It makes you feel like you've got a purpose, so you're just walking with purpose. It's nicer than just like aimlessly wandering around.
Yeah.
That's quite true, yeah.
Yeah.
I did feel like we deviated from the path by coming off and crossing the road, though.
Right.
Stones are like, that way. And we were like, no. Okay.
But the original path, we follow the original path.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's interesting.
Yeah, because the road obviously wouldn't have been there.
So why do the stones kind of point you off down the field still?
I guess it looks like that, but I think originally they would have just curved round very nicely, and because they're not there anymore, we
I
can't
see.
get that sense, you know. So yeah, so we've been true to the path, kind of.
I thought the circle just felt very like still, like
The circle.
yeah. It had like a feeling of there was no time passing in there, just like but
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess because we were all walking in one line for the avenue, it felt different.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't
Like
explain
you could
it.
see time passing.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Very weird.
Cool.
We had a conversation about how it'd be really cool if you could, you know, I've been making like time-lapse movies. You could do like a time-lapse through history, so you could see the whole landscape change with the stones like all stayed in the same spot. It'd be really cool.
given you time to just
I feel like we've had a little
Chill.
pilgrimage.
a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've just been
Reflection.
kind of caught up in this little, you call it a fishbowl, don't you?
Fishbowl.
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 And we haven't seen anything else around it. We just kind of arrived and popped up digging. It's very.
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
nice
really
to
have a
see some
sense of
context.
bearings to where on earth you are and what's around you. It's just this earth,
Yeah.
mud.
Right.
It's kind of like grounded.
Yeah. Yeah. It broadens the whole thing. But I think that idea of pilgrimage is really interesting.
I feel a bit like we're at a service station right now. Do you know, not because of just because of the road, but the fact that we've sort of come on this route, and the way that service stations work these days, they're kind of like a mutual space where no one really lives or inhabits, we're always passing through, and it feels like we're in one of those sort of, we're in a neolithic service station
quick pit stop.
between henges, yeah.
But I think you could be right. You know, that is the theory actually, that it's a kind of a stopping point.
That's cool.
So everyone's on the same level now. Feels like.
Yeah. I do feel, I mean, for me, I was saying it to Pam, like that you're sort of, so you're enclosed in the circle, the landscape around it encloses you, then you're enclosed in the avenue, and the landscape around it also kind of flanks that the whole way down, and you're going down, 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 and then you come up here, suddenly it's like it opens everything up and it's different, and yeah, does anyone get that kind of feeling as well?
Yeah, it's like you're being sort of gently cuddled, and then it's like.
I feel like I don't remember the 100 meters between when we were down here and then suddenly we're up here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it happened like not by accident, but like slightly magically. Like we were
It's like
there,
we were just
Yeah.
and then
in
we're
a
here. Like
groove,
I
weren't we?
wasn't even really conscious of that change of direction because it happened so suddenly that you can suddenly be in this different plane space. It's
Yeah.
really surprising.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of, it seems to me that it's all been very well orchestrated, you know, that it's been very well thought out, and that there is definitely, like you said, some purpose. But
That's
it's
quite
interesting. Sorry.
Sorry, no, I was saying
Yeah.
that's quite sad.
Sad.
Yeah, no, one of the things I have not like a nice sad, you know, not like a sad, because these people are dead now, and I find that quite, I don't know, maybe it reminds me of my own mortality, but we don't really know loads about them, unfortunately. We know, you know, thanks to archaeology, we know a bit about them, but it's just, it's really sad to think that's all that's left of them now.
Yeah.
And they probably had all these ideas about how you'd experience certain things, and you know, a lot of the stuff they'd built would be for certain purposes, and that's been lost to the ages. And I wonder if they'd be, I know they're gone, but I wonder if they'd be a bit sad about that.
Yeah.
I wonder what they would think about some of like the theories that people have for these places. Like the kind of more fringe ones.
Yeah.
I wonder what they would react to that.
Yeah. Because it could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly. I know what you
Pam was
mean.
saying earlier as well about like that it's quite an the placing of standing stones is like kind of an aggressive action of marking your space. We were like talking about it being like in terms of humans marking their space, taking like in a
Taking control of the
hierarchical-
landscape,
yeah.
kind of thing. So like,
yeah, which
but
was
also I think
interesting in relation to Daisy's sort of mourning idea of
No, 'cause
mourning
it-
of passing.
I always thought like it could kind of be like, it's not a very, like, doesn't really fall in line with the hippie idea much, but they could kind of be like the first symbol of humans moving away from the landscape in like kind of in a converse way.
Yeah.
In that they were like, okay, we're going to take these big stones and place them how we want them, and like kind of making the land do your bidding in a way, and
Taking ownership of it.
yeah, because they're so like, if you proper stand right underneath one, they're so like like in your face. So if you like, it's real like a proper sign of power to be like, I can move all these stones and put them here, and like, I don't know, when we can all like look out over a land that we're just starting to farm.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be spot
Kind of makes
on.
sense.
Yeah. It's, well, we just don't know, but that's often an opinion that's been put around. So yeah. But I do know exactly what you mean. yeah, I've had that up here before. It was kind of sad. But.
Yeah. I wish you could just go back in like, not to get involved, because obviously time travel is a mess of worms. Like, in a bubble and just like observe what was going on. It would be so cool to see.
Yeah.
Like every site I'm on.
Yeah. Every archaeologist does, don't they? Basically.
You can't help thinking. I think it's the chalk on that ridge, but also the trench bank element, and then again with these markers about it, the similarity between this as a like monument for or the way we mourn through this monument as when you visit, like, has anyone been to visit World War II trenches? The form, this like pleasant grassy skin that covers the soil that then makes green, this undulation of pitted landscape feels really similar to me.
Right.
That's so weird you said that, because as first thing I said when we went into that circle was we went to Berlin recently, and it really reminds me of the Jewish memorial. All the stones like in the centre. They're like weird.
Yeah.
Right. So it's something around memory and reminders and things like that.
I think you can tell when people have kind of messed with the landscape, 'cause it's quite porous, I think, and I do think I don't know, there's some kind of weird sixth sense when you know people have probably been there, and it's quite, not a creepy feeling, it's quite a nice feeling, but it's quite, I don't know, you feel like you're trespassing sometimes.
Really?
I do, yeah.
I get the
When I go in places like that, I feel like they'd probably be a little bit irritated if I'm just cracking up my notebook and taking photos and that. They'd be like, it's a special bit of respect. You know how people in cathedrals nowadays go, you can't take any photos?
Yeah.
I feel they don't really have a say over that, but I think if they did, they probably would have a bit of a go at me. So,
That's interesting. Yeah.
But how does that contrast with, say, if what David was talking about yesterday is true, where with the barrows, people had a different relationship with the bones and would enter move around the bones. They had that different relationship to death and body. We have a reverence of body and of like, you know, it's something you don't.
Oh no, not
It's
necessarily people
curious,
buried there.
yeah.
Maybe the space would have been more sacred
I'm
to
just
them.
curious, like.
It's interesting that they would do things like that with bodies, because we react that way because it's like an evolutionary thing, right? Because there's a danger of, like, you know, infection and viruses from dead bodies. So it's weird that they didn't seem to. They'd kind of mess around with bones and stuff. It's strange.
Well, they did leave it out on the hills to get picked at by. They did. I can't remember what the word is.
Sky burial.
Where you let the
Excarnation.
excarnation, where you let, and then you go collect the bones afterwards. So I guess if they're clean stuff, then it's not so bad. But I think it's more obviously just there is an emotional side, and if you live with the exact same people, like one book I was reading recently was about that, like, there's only a certain number of people you can remember in your head, like exactly, and have a relationship to, and it's like 100 to 150. So if you lived in a community that was like easily that small or thereabouts, you would know every single person. So when someone died, you would want to know exactly what happened to them and like where they were and all this stuff. Like, I guess nowadays it's more just like there's so many people that you can't really have that same relationship with death.
It's so easy to communicate with people every day.
Like you're just like, oh, another one's gone, like like over and over again. Like, it's so different. I don't know.
But at the same time, I don't know if they had maybe a more healthier attitude to death. I don't think at the moment we've got particularly great. Maybe because of what you said, I think, but then again, I think we don't like to talk about it because I think we are scared of it. When, if you look at how they treated it, I think if you look how they treated it centuries back, they were a lot more accepting. Even in other parts of the world today, they're a lot more. They'll in some areas they'll like lay out the body and like wail over it and then get their grief out, and then they'll hug the body and hold it. I mean, it wasn't that long ago we used to have open casket funerals like commonly, and everyone would hug the body and kiss them and everything before they went. It's only recently we've kind of been like, let's not look at that and just bury it in the ground or something. So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Kind of get rid of it. I think people go through their whole life as well, and then they, like the whole midlife crisis thing, like they don't think about it, and then they get to 50 and they're like, oh crap, it's gonna happen, it's real, or something.
Yeah. So do you think these kind of places were there to make people think about these things a bit more? Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know, I think it was just more natural to think about it, because it was more, I guess, just more of a fact of life, like less distraction, and because you knew everyone so well, every death you heard of would be like something that made you think.
Would be significant to you.
I guess people didn't live as long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're just naturally closer to it.
Yeah. So maybe these things were made to help with that as well.
In a weird way, I was just thinking a lot of these ways of marking the landscape are something that's a lot more permanent than the human state. So maybe it's like an ancient version of, well, I know graffiti's ancient, but you know, when you think about people tagging things. I read somewhere someone wrote something like people tag monuments or walls and towns and that as a sad reminder that they'll probably die, and that's the only thing they can contribute to society, that little mark on the wall, which is really dark. But then you just wonder if this is their way of being like, okay, we are going to go, let's leave something for someone to remember us by.
Yeah.
You know, partially.
Even if you're not consciously thinking it, I guess. Like,
in addition to it maybe being a functional object, maybe they had that in mind, like, may this outlast us.
Yeah, you want some
people.
kind of consequence.
Yeah.